Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM, AM 630. WMAL.
7:07 on the Morning Majority, just a few days before Christmas. The Senate has left town, and the House of Representatives is still trying to decide what it's going to do about the payroll tax matter. We thought it'd be a good time to check in with our good friend Grover Norquist. Grover, how are you this morning?
I'm doing very well. Good to be with you.
Well, it's good to have you on. Hey, listen, here's the question. I mean, as I understand it, John Boehner said to the Senate, and said to Mitch McConnell and Harry Reid, hey, listen, you guys come up with some kind of compromise on the payroll tax matter. They did that. It got 89 votes in the Senate. It then goes to the House, and then it was then learned by Speaker Boehner that his caucus ain't going to support it, no way, no how. And so now they're trying to figure out what to do. What's going on here, Grover?
Well, there are probably several things at stake. One is, what do we actually want done? The Republicans in the House and the Senate have said that they are willing to extend the one-year FICA tax holiday, the Social Security tax holiday, for 1 year. It was put in as a one-year temporary measure by Obama a year ago, and the Republicans have said, sure, we'll extend it. So that's not what's being debated. The Democrats had hoped that they could get the Republicans on the other side of that issue somehow, and then they would argue for raising taxes on small businesses and higher income people, and then we'd have some fight about class warfare and dividing people along economic lines, and the president would play into the Occupy Wall Street mood, which he thinks is out there. That didn't happen. And Republicans said, sure, let's extend that. And they said, and we'll pay for it by reducing spending. That is exactly what Harry Reid on the Senate side and Obama did not want to have a conversation about their overspending. They wanted to have a conversation about, taxing rich people. And so they kind of lost that one. Remember that Harry Reid had to walk back. He had a number of Democrat senators who are up for election who come from states where that's not class warfare is considered something that people do a long time ago in other countries, not something we do here. So Harry Reid and Obama had to walk back from the let's have a class warfare discussion. They lost that millionaires tax discussion. And so now we're back to arguing about whether there will be a pipeline to bring Canadian oil down to the United States to put many Americans to work in preparing the oil and transporting the oil to be used here in America. Obama apparently wants to kill that. It's been studied for 3 years. Now he decides he needs more studies. He does not want to make a decision until after the election so he can make secret private promises to very extreme environmental groups that don't like Americans to have low-cost oil and don't like Americans to have jobs building pipelines or producing gasoline. So it's a huge fight. It's partly about job creation in the Midwest, and I don't think the president expects to carry Nebraska, so he doesn't care if jobs are created there, and he certainly doesn't like Louisiana.
But hold on, Grover. Here's my question. I mean, if they don't do something today, isn't it possible that Republicans in the House will be characterized as being in favor? I mean, I don't think it's fair, but wouldn't they be characterized as being in favor of a tax increase on the middle class?
Well, that, of course, is what Reid and Obama are trying to do. It just doesn't fit the facts.
But if
that doesn't stop them from saying it.
Right. Well, they'll argue, hey, listen, it passed in the Senate 89-10, so there were plenty of Republicans and Tea Party-like Republicans on board with this in the first place. I do want to know, though, if it doesn't go through, and let's just say that we go back to 6.4% on the Social Security tax, is that a tax increase in your opinion?
Well, it will be a higher tax than it was last year for 1 year. I mean, this is an interesting question. Obama said, I want to have a one-year tax holiday on Social Security taxes and a one-year expensing. Now, I think going to expensing, where when a business invests in a new plant and equipment, you expense it that year rather than depreciate it over a long period of time, that's sound policy. That takes about 1,000. If you made it permanent, take about 1,000 pages of the tax code out. It would make it easier and less expensive to invest in new business. That should be permanent. But Obama put it in as a one-year tax holiday. That was his request that year. Not extending it I think it'd be a good idea to extend it, but it's not a violation of the pledge not to extend a one-year tax holiday. I think this you argue on its merits. If it is passed as a permanent tax cut and you were ending it, yeah, that would certainly be a tax increase. But this has been done one time. I think it's a good idea to extend it, largely because the Democrats will demagogue it if one doesn't. So let's do it, and let's move on and get back to the fight about Obama's overspending.
Right. Given that we're dealing with the demagoguery part, I think, now, so the House votes it down today, probably. What do you think should be the end game for Republicans here? I mean, we're sort of stuck if the Senate doesn't come back.
Well, remember, the Republicans have passed a bill to begin with. So the Senate is walking out the door without passing a one-year extension. What will have happened if the Republicans vote down the, temporary two-year extension, which is the Senate not doing what Harry Reid said it wanted to do. Remember, Obama was running around puffing and saying, we have to have a one-year extension right now, until Harry Reid decided that the strategy to play games with us was something else, and then the president turned on a dime. The president was a very good campaigner. He hasn't been a very good president, and now he's back to being a politician and a campaigner again. So I think we'll see a lot of clever and not a lot of good government.
What's the difference between 2 months and 10 months? I mean, that's the big fight, it seems. I mean, the Republicans say we need to make this tax holiday last a little bit longer. They said just for business purposes. But, I mean, really, is there that much of a difference between 2 months and 10 months? Because that's what the whole fight's about.
Well, the Democrats want to get out of town, not have to cut spending, and come back and revisit it. They'll probably come back with another tax increase idea rather than a spending restraint in 2 months. The reason to kick it down the can 2 months is that they didn't like the way the conversation was going. They didn't like that the Republicans in the House said, fine, we'll extend it for a year and cut spending. That's the wrong answer. The Democrats wanted to raise taxes, not cut spending. Yeah. So they're trying to get out from the corner they painted themselves into.
But don't you lose that argument if you've got 89 senators voting for it?
Well, you've got almost every Republican voting for a one-year plan that allows the pipeline to be built in the Midwest, and a number of other pro-growth, pro-jobs riders in there. You can just as easily and just as accurately point out that the Republicans passed a very good plan that paid for itself, that was good for a year, and that Harry Reid didn't want to do that.
All right. Thank you, Grover. As always, appreciate your time.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.